NONGSHIM do have the blue side, so they will be able to pick up their pick first. We'll see what they are going to prioritize. They're not going to need to ban the Rumble. That will likely fall to T1 unless they do want to risk it. Speaking of risking it, like maybe they're going to have fun. Maybe we're going to see some of the cool picks that have been making the rounds. But we'll just have to see. Not necessarily a team known for mixing it up when they don't necessarily have to, and they absolutely don't have to.
Aurora ban, pretty solid, does it as well, put more emphasis on that Rumble. And we see the Varus come through, which, I mean, makes sense in general, but especially against Guma. Does also kind of put pressure on that Yunara. With the Varus gone, means the Yunara ban even more pertinent. And the Pantheon to come through, so no real ban towards that Rumble. And Wukong still available as well. They are going to prioritize the Wukong in this situation. So, I mean, it makes sense. A lot of junglers were nerfed, hit down on this patch, and Wukong was the one who kind of wasn't. Pantheon as well was nerfed last patch, not this patch, but both of those really strong. So Gideon gets himself a really strong jungler with that pickup, but does leave over the Rumble to Doran, which I know Kingen feels bad about, because not only does he not get to play it, but it also passes, means it's going to be locked out for the rest of the series with Fearless.
So, we are in the Legend group, but the Rise group special is available. They could just pick any Rakan right now, and NONGSHIM, theoretically, if they were in the Rise group, would be guaranteed a victory. That could be a decision that they could make.
I mean, in terms of proximity, they are the closest to the Rise group.
They are.
To the standings. So it does give a lot of proactivity. Looks like leaning towards Orianna, though, which is also a pretty good denial away from Fake. It is his most played in the most recent rounds.
Don't mind it, as the Ornn is going to be the pickup into this Rumble. It was considered a counter pick-ish type thing that can get through the lane. I don't know whether that remains the case.
Yeah, I'm less convinced by this pick.
But wait. So, the first letters of the three of these champions. Say it out for me.
Ow.
No, it's woo!
Oh, the other way.
Yeah.
Okay.
In order.
Okay.
It's woo! And that's pretty cool!
Okay, yeah.
Right?
You know, great pitch.
Yeah, I think that's the most serious thing that we can go into about the Ornn versus Rumble matchup.
I thought you were going in a different direction with that.
Woo!
Our minds just jumped. I mean, technically with two O's, wouldn't it be ow? It'd be like ow,
ooh! Yeah, I guess. It would be like a weird wolf type situation.
Yeah, the
Not the wolf that's in the space.
Yeah. Bard ban pretty good into Keria. Alistar's still open. Rakan's still open. You would love to get Rakan as NONGSHIM, but it's going to be hard in this situation, because I feel like if you like ban Alistar here, they might just take Rakan themselves. You could leave it both open. They're going to ban the Braum in this situation.
Interesting.
We'll see what T1 opt to do here. They're just going to go for the Jhin for Guma. A lot of comfort on this. I will say there's a good amount of picks to kind of get onto the Jhin and disrupt his ultimate with the Ornn.
There is also the Alistar left up, which is kind of crazy. So that could be picked up by Lehens. Of course, he really does like the pick. The Keria, I think, will have something planned. We'll see what it is going to be.
I think just like Sivir Rakan could be so good here. You know, movement speed, it's a great scaling pick. There's a lot of melee champs at full melee topside in T1. And Rakan with Wukong, I mean, I've said like a million times how much I rate this combo.
Plus with Ornn, it's also fantastic. Pairs up with Orianna very well. You can deliver balls pretty effectively.
If you want to go Alistar, though, I think that's also fine. I mean, it also sets up the ball and a bit bulkier, because there's a lot of AoE damage. That's the one concern about Rakan. So when Galio was a support way back when, he was actually a really good matchup in Rakan, because the taunt is so easy to lock down the Rakan with. Yep. There's also the AoE from the Rumble, so you could just kind of get exploded, whereas Alistar a lot more durable in that situation. So a bulkier frontline for NONGSHIM. They do have decent dive threats. Their comp scales pretty well. And they've kind of managed things decently. Are going to see the Poppy coming for Keria, though. And I think T1 pretty happy with what they got, right? They have the Rumble for Doran, a phenomenal pick. This strong skirmishing mid-jungle. They have Jhin for Guma. They have Poppy for Keria. I don't think it's the best Game 1 draft we've seen for T1, but the bar was very high for that, right?
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
You know there are people that actually like didn't know the Wusa thing from Bad Boys 2?
You know, there's actually a point I was going to make, because think about it, NONGSHIM have a lot of vowels themselves.
They do, yeah.
If they go first, they had side selection, they put the vowels down,
Aha!
and then you can use their vowels
That's true!
to make words in the rules of Scrabble. That's how it goes, you know? So,
Like picks.
yeah.
But like it would be the proper noun picks, unfortunately. But it is League of Legends related because it's Lulu's Fairy, and so they could have spelled. Oh no, but there's no I.
Where's the I? Was thinking, where are you getting the I from?
Well, it's in Alistair and Oriana.
No, but
we're not doing the whole word,
Okay,
are we?
it's a lot easier if you just have every letter in the full names.
Yeah, so it'd be pox, and that sounds less healthy. It's still a word though.
Pog? We can make pog?
We can make pog and jog. We can definitely jog.
Ox?
Ox. There we go. That's an easy one. We can do rocks. Rocks tigers.
Yeah.
There we go. A little bit League of
I
Legends
haven't really
themed.
used the A very much.
Oh, that's true. There is an
Rag?
A. What about Jack?
Rap?
Yeah. We got Pag. I don't know. No. Rag. We could do rag.
Yeah.
Racks.
Racks?
Like barracks. Like they shorten it in StarCraft.
I don't think you get any points for that one.
I think it's also.
I need a referee for that.
RACKS as well.
Yeah.
I think technically.
That's the sort of one where you put down and you try and justify it to your little brother, and he's like, no.
Yeah. No. My grandmother would not have allowed that.
Pulling the dictionary out on that one.
Yep. Although she would always put in words that made absolutely no sense to me, so I felt like she was cheating. Just turned out that I didn't know very many words when I was 7. Calix is doing a decent job here. Remember, he is coming off the back of like solo kills against BDD and stuff like this. Calix has actually had a little bit of a resurgence here in the LCK, so Faker not having the greatest of times up against this Oriana. Tough matchup, obviously. But good to see that Calix is playing it out the way that he's supposed to.
Yeah, putting the pressure on early on. What you want to see.
I'm feeling that the tempo vibes aren't necessary. Okay, never mind. Keria is going to be able to find the heroic charge into Lehens, and all of a sudden they have
Why
a
did
massive.
you say it?
Yeah,
Why
I
did you
shouldn't have
say
said
it?
it. I shouldn't have said it. I know I shouldn't have said it.
Did we not learn anything from yesterday?
I did. I learned that we cannot actually help it.
Yeah.
And the caster curses will just happen. They're inevitable, and I should not worry too much because Chronicle is never going to admit that he uses them for evil.
Don't try and fight them. And he does. That's
He does.
true. He tries to pretend, oh, I don't know. They don't exist. How could I use them for evil if I don't even believe in them?
Yeah, exactly. And then brutally murders KT with it.
Yeah.
It is. It's pretty ruthless. But that's okay. We were just talking about the tempo vibes. No one's died yet or anything like that. Okay, good. We're safe. We're safe. Lane swap does come in.
Very early swap come through. Getting King into the top lane matchup. And also saw Dew picking up this big wave in the top side. But they have lost out on a lot of farm as a result. So you are just going to see T1 match. I do think Dew is going to be able to pick up some. He is picking up some of the CS, but he's still going to be behind compared to Guma on this one.
Yeah, it's actually turned into about a 300 gold advantage just from the lane swap, which is suboptimal, especially considering the fact that Calix did have a decent lead in that mid lane. Things like that just means that it is purely the swap that has gleaned that extra money over to T1. And they will now have waves stacking up towards them as well as Gumayusi and Keria make their way back to this lane.
Yeah, now have the heal advantage for T1's bot lane as well, so there's that added pressure. It's not a fun matchup to play the Alistair into. Also, the Jhin is just going to have more pressure than the Sivir. You will eventually get to the point where you can just wave clear and kind of ignore the Jhin, especially if you can spell shield his abilities. But those early levels, a little bit precarious.
Yep. And I'm a little bit worried for Kingen as well, because this is one of Doran's favorite champions. He's been fantastic, especially like team fighting on the Rumble, as Keria does go in. He's just getting a little bit of harassment down on this Poppy. Working out quite well. You're not going to quite find the Boomerang Blade value. But yeah, I do think that T1 in this mid-game are going to really start to have a field day.
Yeah.
Which is not exactly a brave thing to say, based on how they've been playing all the time. However, Keria is going to have to use the flash to get out of the way of Lehens, who is now looking to turn his attention towards Gumayusi. Gideon in position. Was there a little bit late to affect the players. Faker walks over a ward, and Oner looks to take down the Drake in response to that topside aggression.
Yeah, so I think T1 fine with this. You know, it's a trade of summoners. T1 do trade down slightly because they commit the heal as well, but both supports have Hex Splash. I don't think they really care too much. But ultimately, Lahens goes for the play setup. Keria uses the charge, so he can then just flash out before the stun comes in. And Oner picks up a dragon essentially for free off the back of that.
Not to mention Doran is able to just steal all the crockery away from this bottom lane turret. Kingen still in a lot of trouble, not going to be able to build enough items to get him out of this one, as Oner will finally finish this one off there as the smite to secure the Hextech Dragon, going to be the first one. Cloud is going to be next. Ox, we had a bit of a rough day yesterday. Shockwave going to come through here from Calyx, looking to chase down Faker here, winding up the clockwork quite nicely, but doesn't quite find the command attack.
Yeah, just trying to keep the pressure up. We do see swap coming again from NONGSHIM, and King was having a really rough time in that matchup. Has started to get a bit of magic resist, but I just feel like the Rumble does so much damage now.
Yeah, and he's also just going to be able to equalize the wave, and that's not very equal, actually, because it does mean that once again, they are going to have so much control in this lane swap scenario. Doran not going to be missing out on anything, and gets to utilize this tempo however he would like.
Yeah, so one of the things they changed when they did the rebalancing with Rumble is now his Q, even if you like just catch someone with it, they burn for an extra half a second. So when you're playing into like a range matchup, or you're playing into like an AD carry and a support, I feel like he has so much more threat, because even if you're just
need to tag.
Clipped by the flame spitter, you're taking so much more damage than you would before. And obviously, Rumble's always been pretty good in lane swap situations because of the power of the equalizer.
Oh dear. Kingen was looking to try and get in line of these minions so that he could get that Bella's Breath off. As we can see, not going to be able to Searing Charge this one as Gumayusi reloading! He was reloading at him! It was so menacing!
Scrambling with the bullets. The only thing that really saved King there is the fact that Guma didn't have his ult available very close.
Or any bullets.
Or any bullets. Had to go to the bullet store before he could finish him off.
Yeah, no, like the Walmart was just a little bit too far away. We don't have any Americans on this particular desk. We don't have Walmarts in Australia, and nowhere really
We have a couple on the space, though. I'm sure they will be able to fill it in.
They can let us know whether Walmart was the right thing to say.
Yeah.
And perhaps it was. As Gumayusi, he's got bullets, Ox.
He's got 4 of them.
Oh, there's one. There's a grenade, 2, 3. And there's the 4th one. Bit of damage onto Lahens. As Keria able to get a whole lot more off as well. The reload does come through. 2 more left in the chamber, and the last one will do it. First blood over to Gumayusi. And Jiu, he's on the hunt, but unfortunately, his cow was hunted.
Jiu actually doing so much damage in return there, but the support wasn't there from the rest of the team. You know, if Gideon had come in, if Calyx had come in, that could have been a huge play for NONGSHIM. But in the end, they end up picking up 3 grubs. So I think NONGSHIM not too upset about that, but it must feel frustrating for Jiu there to have pumped so much damage into those 3 members of T1 and not really get a kill in return. We have a look into the top lane matchup, but it's still going really bad for Kingen.
He does have a Spectre's Cowl. That item generally makes you feel better, but it just doesn't look like he's feeling better. It's about a 30 CS advantage. I do want to say that Valdez did dive into Twitch chat. What was he saying? Where is it? There aren't any Walmarts on the space, Orcs, as it turns out. Doran's also just going to burn Jiu down. Yeah, the tick rate actually does look like it was improved somewhat. The flash forward as the barrier comes down, and no flash for Doran means no way out. A little bit overexcited there, but great positioning from Jiu.
Yep, great play coming in from Gideon and turn that around. I think Doran, unfortunately, if he'd overheated with that flame spitter, he could have just beat Jiwoo down with the overheated autos, but wasn't quite able to finish him off there. The fact that Jiwoo still had his summoners after that top play was a big difference maker there. So a kill does come in, going over to the Wukong. And things still pretty close in this game. You know, a little bit of an advantage for T1 in terms of gold. They do have that dragon, but King getting some plates here on the back of those grubs. Going to feel really nice.
A bit of tempo to come through here as well. As the Justice Punch going to not really work out there for Faker. He is still going to be fine. And I think Calyx sending a message.
It's really important that Calyx is maintaining this pressure on Faker, because we've seen times where there hasn't been this constant pressure. The Galio's been freed up, and he's just taken over the game. So important he's constantly doing that here. They know Lahens doesn't have flash. and they know they can just commit to the play. Guma sets up the root, Oner flashes to commit, but look how much damage G was actually doing in return here.
Yeah, the barrier actually gets so much value from Gumayusi there as well, keeping him alive 100%. As Doran teleports in and kills Ju. Oh, tries to kill Ju.
It feels overheated there. Oh!
Whoa, okay. Keria in a little bit of trouble as the ricochets are flying through, but does run out of them. As Gumayusi is able to get himself to relative safety. You can see there is definitely frustration there, and does manage to get some revenge against Doran at least, and does send Keria home.
I mean, think of a situation where Ju had another couple of kills as a result of these plays where people are super low on HP, so Keria on not the favorable end of that trade, but does manage to get away, does manage to survive there on very low HP. Still a big deficit between the 80 carries though. Ju down about 500 gold to Guma, but does pick up that Essence Reaver.
Yeah, it would actually get that first reset. Oner looking to start off this Cloud Drake. Will be Double Dragon over for T1. Could be an Infernal this game. Could also be like an Ocean or a Chemtech, which is not necessarily as coveted, but still some good options available as the Ram is going to come down. Doran just walks in between it. That's the way you do it, by the way.
Yeah.
Sending a message. Okay, the Mountain is going to be a good option for both teams, honestly.
No flash and Doran, that was just a kill if you got hit by that. So, you know, there's two sides to it. There's a dodge and there's a miss.
Yeah.
You know? Let's praise Doran for the dodge. But,
yeah, move on.
Needs to work at his bowling a little bit, let's just say.
Yeah, he's ramming.
Yeah.
Just hasn't quite told the Forge God where to go. Correct.
Power of the swiftness boots, you know. Doran's just walking so fast.
Wait, Ornn is the Forge God, isn't he?
Yeah.
The Ram isn't the Forge God.
Yeah.
He just is. Yeah. That's a bit silly, Atlas. Calyx, looking up towards his top side. We'll see whether he actually does rotate forward. Does find himself at least a little bit of shellfish, but otherwise not too much more. Gideon moving over towards his mid lane where Gumayusi has parked himself for now. And Ju laning against Faker this time. Doesn't look too worried about it. And honestly, like, even though we saw the whiff on the ultimate, things like that, haha, funny, this game is extraordinarily close. Only 400 gold in it, and I'm looking at an Ornn, a Sivir, and an Orianna. There is a lot of scaling potential here. Not to mention Alistair, very valuable later on in the game. Wukong as well.
If this goes to 5v5s, NONGSHIM definitely, like, they have the composition where they have great team fighting, right? A lot of engaged threats. They have great DPS for the Sivir. They have a lot of targets to hit. You know, it's 4 melee champions.
Whoa!
That you can just shred. And Calyx is continuing to put the pressure on with this Orianna.
He is not perturbed. Maybe should be a little perturbed. Took a little bit of damage there, as we could see off the back end, but otherwise is really making sure that this mid lane is impenetrable for NONGSHIM.
And you got to remember, like, look, NONGSHIM are still, they're a tiny little bit of goal behind, but think how dominant T1 have been so far in round 3 to 5. So even just to be keeping it even at this point, it's a positive omen for NONGSHIM, especially with this composition. They just need to keep this momentum going, and with 2 dragons in the hands of T1, I'm looking towards this Herald, I'm looking towards this next dragon. These are the big turning points of this game. These are the points where really NONGSHIM needs to find good fights, favorable setups to establish themselves. I'm a little bit concerned playing into the Poppy. We've seen so many teamfight setups just ruined by having a Poppy on the side who just like knocks away your key engager and messes everything up.
And of course, the Wukong can be a little bit tricky, right? You can utilize the Warrior Trickster in order to try and get that ultimate to be aimed wrongly. Things like that might be an opportunity here for Gideon to do some tricky stuff to keep himself in the fight, but Keria hasn't often been known to miss.
Yeah, they do move G with the mid lane, so I feel like having him in the bot lane for quite a while. It wasn't a big issue, right? He can just clear waves when it was up against the Galio, but now having him mid and kind of just maintain that mid prio as Sivir loves to do.
Yep. So Faker down here towards the bottom lane is going to taunt up King in momentarily. Looks like NONGSHIM a little bit more interested in this Herald that's going to be coming up in 23 seconds time. Gideon wanting to move up towards his top lane, but Doran does have this control ward, so he will know exactly what's going on. But it is Calyx. This guy is dangerous. Speaking of danger, the Deadly Flourish is going to come on through, and Lehen's down to 50% health.
See how cautious T1 were about committing heavily for that play. A little bit apprehensive. Ooh, that damage.
Okay, not a bad Boomerang Blade.
Okay, did just walk up to the 4-shot though. You know, I was there to praise you, and then he kind of just said, you know what?
No, that's Oner. That's Oner right there. He's like, Gumayusi, he ate the full combo. I will allow him to have his. There's Shockwave going to pull back Doran after the flash. Very nicely done. Still gets the flash out of Calyx, but going to be a relatively even trade. Still, T1 now with positional advantage over this Herald. He'll be able to make that one work. Calyx, with his teleport up, though, there is a possibility that there could be a contest, but it looks like it's just not going to come in.
Oh, they're looking for it now.
Okay. Captive audience going to slow up Gideon as he's making his approach. Teleport in from King, and let's see whether the Ornhorn does come down. Bellows Breath to eat the CC out of Faker, but the taunt will still come on through, and NONGSHIM, I just think that they're realizing they're too late. Not going to bite off more than they can chew.
Yeah, felt a little bit overforced. The Herald was already kind of gone. It was so low when they got in there. And now the question is, what are you going to get on the back of this, right? You committed a TP, you moved in. Raptors, maybe?
Well, there is a little bit of a headbutt pulverize onto Faker. Nice double taunt to come on through as he's buying a lot of time. And the problem is, that means the rest of T1 are making their way over. The Unbreakable Will comes down. Nice double pulverize there from Lahens, but the curtains have been called. Flash out from Lahens means that he's just definitely dead. I don't know why we're pressing that button right there, but sometimes you just panic and you need to press F.
This feels like such an error from NONGSHIM because I don't think trying to commit the Herald was necessarily that bad, but by over-committing on that side of the jungle, now you've given T1 great opportunity to Herald mid, and Dragon is now spawned. It's third Dragon of the game for T1. Lahens is going to TP mid, but you could have spent that time setting up around Dragon, getting control of the area. Now you're giving a team with Poppy set up to get vision, to get control. And you also move in to try contest, but it's so difficult.
Yeah, and you need Calyx to move first, right? Because a heroic entrance is available here for Faker, so he can get over there a whole lot quicker than the Orianna can. So she does make her way down towards this mid lane. NONGSHIM not going to give this one up without a fight, but feels like the tempo vibe certainly moving even further into T1's position in this game. NONGSHIM kind of teetering on collapse is kind of my feeling at this point in time.
Yeah, doing a good job of forcing in here, though, managing to get mid-prio and keeping T1 away. But you can see there's a lot of vision behind still, that ward over the wall there. So there is information for T1. And they were kind of just waiting for the Galio. Faking out here, they're moving in.
Yeah, Ram comes down, there's the equalizer, but it is going to tag Doran this time. The knock up onto Faker, but he still gets the ult off, and down goes Doran to start this fight off. Now Calyx trying to get himself out, but he will not be able to. Oner with that Crescent Guard is able to lock him down. That is actually going to be feats of strength as well, but Oner still going to fall. Pulverized, flashed out of the way of by Gumayusi, but I don't think they're taking a dragon unless Keria has something to say about it as Faker punches with justice and takes down Jiu. Gideon over the top. It should be the kill onto Keria, and it will be, as Gideon does get the Q off. There's not a lot of damage left remaining here, though, for NONGSHIM, as Gideon does manage to sidestep the curtain, as Faker will just punch his way over to this side of the map and should be able to keep himself alive. And Doran's back up and available. This means no dragon to be taken here for NONGSHIM, and T1 might actually still just get it.
Yeah, tense. Pretty chaotic situation on the back of that fight. Initially looking like T1 maybe had found favor by getting Calyx, but he gets a big shockwave. So we see Doran obviously getting focused down initially. He's kind of caught in a bad spot, but then Calyx ends up getting stunned with no flash. Does get a huge shockwave.
Massive.
But it still ends up going down to Oner, but then the turnaround comes in. Kingen finds Oner, and it's a lot of trades here. This is when it looks initially good, but this play from Keria to find the Sivir lost all the momentum, I feel like, for NONGSHIM in this situation. You had a scenario where I really felt like they had just won the fight, and then they completely got deflated on the back end because of that pick on that 80 carry. Now they are back on the map. They do have control over the area once again, but everyone's back up, you know. Some ults still not available. I think the significant ones is Lahens not quite there yet. Guma's not quite there yet.
Yeah, Cyclone as well as Call of the Forge God, both of them. Very big deal. But NONGSHIM, they do have positional advantage, and right now they are utilizing that. That should mean that they were able to collect this dragon here. T1 not looking to get in there as Oner is still making his way out of base.
This is big, you know, getting the dragon for NONGSHIM. I was really concerned about a scenario where T1 picked up that third dragon, and once you have that looming threat of soul, the game becomes so hard to play, especially as Arakan is on the other side of the map, which is become very hard to protect.
Petals. Oh, Faker going to steal one of Kingan's petals. You'd have to feel like that should have been his.
Yeah. There's a lot of petals in that area.
Yeah. Arakan going to spawn there, as we just saw. Faker making his way over to at least supervise.
But I think very big. Can't understate how big it is, especially when you have composition of skill so well that you did deny that dragon from T1. Stop them from getting the soul point, and now can focus your attention towards this Arakan on the top side.
Yeah, Equalizer comes through just to clear out this wave. It's going to very comfortably do so. So outer turret was pretty close to going down. No one with first brick just yet. So that would have been a decent chunk of gold. Could have honestly almost just brought NONGSHIM straight back to even with T1 from that point. But they've got feats of strength as well. There are certainly some things that are helping them out. But Kingen has started to upgrade things. Level 13 has come through. His Rookern has now got a cute little border. And he is actually going to be able to just knock this one down. Demolitionist indeed. Yeah, and they do manage to get that first turret.
That bot tower likely to follow pretty soon as well. You know, neither Faker nor Doran can really match up to the Orianna in a 1v1. Just the pressure that Calyx has right now.
And this is getting a bit rough as well. The Jhin doesn't quite have the wave clear that Jiu does have. Does have a fourth bullet that Jiu does really like to collect for himself. But Steadfast Presence comes down, Gideon not going to be getting it.
This is the point that people normally play the Ornn into Rumble for once you have that Kennick Regen.
No. Oh dear. Well, the Ram does come on through. They are lacking a little bit of damage. As I really hope that, like, we didn't get Lahenz's camera, which would have been maybe very funny.
Yeah, you ever heard the phrase "no man left behind"? There's a reason for that.
Gio unfortunately didn't get that message.
Yeah, is it on Gio? Is it on the rest?
Yeah.
The one who hit it, I didn't actually see in the moment.
I think it was a hoof. I really do think a hoof probably did it. As Gideon not going to get tagged by the deadly flourish. As Gumayusi's like, no, but you loved the fourth bullet last time. Not going to happen. The turret isn't going to fall down as well. It is very, very close to it.
Yeah, very fortified without the minions there. They should just be able to pick it up. It was lowered earlier by the Herald, and it will go down. So, first turret of the game for T1.
Yep.
And it does make it difficult, because Jiu obviously loves to have that mid-prior. We've seen him pushing up constantly, but now of much more threat with that tower down. And then immediately just going to start up the Arakan. There's no vision on it specifically. There's vision around it. And no blue trinket available at this moment, but Lahens is moving in.
Yep, walking up does manage to get vision. As they don't actually sweep it out just yet. Still, they're turning on to Keria. Equalizer comes through, gets a fair bit of work done as Keria finds the heroic charge. And now the taunt is going to connect. Faker was just waiting for Gio to go over the wall. It's beautifully played. And even though it's a quadra-pulverize, it does not matter at all because Kingen and Calyx are a million miles away.
Great play there from Keria, finding the Sivir again with the flash play. And now Calyx is going to do his best to try and force this off. The General comes in. King can just block this, though.
Yeah, heroic entrance is going to get Faker in immediately as the curtain going to be held, but I think it is going to go away. The triple taunt going to come down for Faker as he holds Gideon in position. Steadfast Presence continues to do so as he'll burn down. It's a double for Doran, maybe even a triple here as he's just going to obliterate on. Down he goes. Faker grabs that kill, and that's going to be Otacon as well. T1. Phenomenal team fight, put themselves in such a good spot.
T1's control around these neutral objectives, their setup, and their just ability to pounce when they see an opportunity. So precise. And Jiwoo, I've got to criticize, you know, gets engaged on here. You had flash, you had spell shield, gets caught out by the flash stun, knocked into the taunt from Faker.
Special delivery.
Yeah, and it's brilliant setup from T1, but if you get caught by that initial stun from the Poppy, it's game over. You can't let that happen. You represent so much damage for this team comp, and then it becomes this impossible task for the rest of NONGSHIM to try and stall out. But it was a great setup here. Faker getting on top of Calyx with the taunt, and I think Calyx kind of had to flash there because he doesn't even get a chance to get his shockwave off here.
Yeah. And they all just disintegrate.
So low as well. Yeah, it feels like maybe if he got his shockwave off, maybe there was something there. It's hard to say.
Might have been a couple of kills.
Yeah, it was just a rough spot to be put in. It was kind of a doom situation they were trying to force because it felt like the game was slipping away if they let the Arakan go. But ultimately, T1 holds strong, ruthless in their execution around the Arakan.
And it turns out they were probably correct as well, because the game really does feel like it's slipping away now that the Arakan's gone. So you might have been onto something, as Faker is going to be monitored here by Doran. Means that he's not going to be going down or anything like that, but now it's sole point on the menu for T1. And NONGSHIM do want to deny this if they can, but it is just going to be a massive difficulty as Hex Splash in from Keria, looking for a possible opportunity, an avenue forward. As Lahens comes over, that is goodbye to the Orianna, but Heva Pulverize to connect onto Keria, and he just goes down. That's a kill over to the Sivir as Kingen buys so much space just wandering off to the side. He is going to die. But a 1-for-1 and a dragon going over to NONGSHIM probably feels pretty good. Still, T1 have now taken up occupation of NONGSHIM's side of the map. And it may not be a place that NONGSHIM can get out of. Heroic entrance. Jiu going to have that spell shield as he flashes. Wind becomes lightning, still connects, but there's the shockwave. The pulverize on top, and Oner will be going down. Jiu's still alive this time, but Doran has found him, and he's got a dangerous flamethrower. Down goes the Siva. There's the ace for T1. And a moment there for NONGSHIM. And then it was snuffed out. And Oner hits 3,000 assists.
There you go, huge achievement in T1. It looks like the play was going to come in for NONGSHIM. The shockwave is big, the CC's there, but they hold strong.
Huge cheer from the crowd here, as look at that, still standing, by the way.
Oh man, look at the T-pose. That's Aura right there. He knows.
Absolutely is. He's like, yeah, I might be dead, but do I look dead? No, not even a little bit.
0 HP, he's still going.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's committed. Here, so Keria ults Calyx away, buys time, and it does end up kind of giving away the dragon because, you know, we see them go, we see Keria go down, we see the rest of them focus on Kingin, which does just give her the dragon, but T1 are fine making this trade because they know with the position NONGSHIM are in, oh no.
Oh dear. Well, medium rare?
He gets out.
Yeah, Lens is going to be alright.
With the position they were in after taking the dragon, just so easy for T1 to wrap around and cut them off. So, you know, they don't really care about whether they get that next dragon because they're so far ahead now. They're looking towards the purple worm, and TP comes in. NONGSHIM going to try and contest this one, but Keria is out of vision, and he's going to threaten with that ult.
Yep, and now just flashes on in as well. Can deliver a gargoyle. So right in on top, and down goes the jungler. That is just going to be freedom there onto the Baron as Gumayusi was tanking up said Baron because he was the last one left in the Baron pit, but he'll be absolutely fine. No one's there to contest. And T1, this is their bread and butter. Just take control of the game. They'll take down the Baron here, and they'll look to close this one out.
It feels like every time Keria has flash, it's just like, well, someone's dying, and it's going to cost you heavily.
Yep. And sometimes he just has Hex Flash, and that's also just as dangerous.
Yep.
Finally get the outer turret bot lane, though.
Yeah, been a while. The Hen's fishing on the side.
Oh, T1 not taking the bait, as Lehens will be able to stop Faker from recalling for the moment.
Faker is very strong. I would not, I would not go in on that. Oh, Calyx.
All right, well, there is a little bit of a drive-by there as Calyx was actually seen from the sky.
Where's he going?
He is just going to stand here and go back to base. That is his attempt. And it will be successful. There we go.
Yeah, you know, we take the little wins.
100%. I mean, the big wins, though, are on the T1 side with a 5-0-9 Galio.
Yeah, I was thinking of the setup from Keria to go for the...
well, Shockwave is going to connect, but Jiu is once again lying on the floor.
Yeah, not ideal for NONGSHIM.
Yeah, I'm going to say subpar on that one, as Equalizer goes down. Not the most value here for this one, but the Pulverize coming on through there onto Keria, and Lehens not going to find too much. Nice little searing charge, but the double taunt, and Gideon, he's melting, and there's the Harpoon to finish him off. Lehens gets tagged by the Flame Spitter. The curtains have been called, and I think it is indeed curtains here for NONGSHIM in this first game. T1 just a little bit too good here today, and have been, honestly, for weeks now.
Feels like even if you have an okay early game, even if some things are going right for you, once you get to the neutral game, once you get to those neutral objectives, the setup in the mid game, you have to do everything right and more to stand a chance. Oh, are they gonna look for him?
Yeah, Faker just trying to get his flash on cooldown, and he will effectively do that as T1